Hello Cancer, welcome to your monthly reading. This is for the month of November 2017 and it's also a general reading. You can check your moon and rising sign if this video does not relate to you in any way. So let's get started. Hope you're doing well. Okay, so Cancer, November 2017. Okay, so this reading will be based on the 12 houses of astrology. So there will be 12 cards. Okay, I just want to make sure. All right. So to start, we have in the 12th house. So the 12th house is kind of a general house. It is associated with Pisces, and this would kind of be a general overall card as well as something unconscious that wants to come up. So here we have the Ace of Coins. So something new wants to come out, most likely a business plan for the future, or possibly some plans to go back to school, something solid based to do with life and the progress towards abundance. So first house, this is associated with how we see ourselves, how we generally are as an individual, and we have the Five of Wands for this month. So this is definitely competitive in some way. Now, across from the first house, kind of the balancing act to it is the 12th house, or sorry, the 7th house, my apologies, and we have the Fountain in reverse. So I'm using the Fountain Tarot, and the Fountain is an addition they added. And the Fountain upright is kind of just a general being, kind of similar to an I am statement. A very powerful individual card. Reversed, this is kind of the opposite of that. So it's kind of ignorance towards the self. Being in the 7th house, which is of relationships, this could be towards another person. So maybe it's ignorance, and it's kind of this pent-up anger that we have directed at someone, or maybe our relationships in general. Maybe in pursuit of something that wants to come forward in our 12th house unconsciously. This is happening. So let's move to the 2nd house. We have the Five of Coins in reverse. So the 2nd house is associated with Taurus, and it has a lot to do with internal values, kind of what brings us stability. And we have the Five of Coins in reverse. So this month, you're pushing to get out of some kind of rut. Maybe you felt slighted or wronged or misunderstood, and kind of left alone. Maybe it was these people that kind of pushed you away. Here, 3rd house as well, our environment. 11th house, Knight of Cups. So this could have been an individual, probably a water sign here. I'll get to that in a moment. So we're feeling kind of like finding our ground again, and the sense of stability, moving away from kind of this sense of lack that we have within ourselves. So 3rd house, this is the environment and how we communicate within that environment. It can also be internal perceptions. So we have the Nine of Swords reverse. So upright, Nine of Swords is a lot to do with fear. Upright, it's kind of acknowledgement of those fears. So here there's a lot of communication or awareness of the fears around us that we have, and most likely maybe to possibly being alone in some way. Here across from the second house is our 8th house, so of transformations. We have the 6 of coins, so that to me says that you have a lot to offer, and I don't think you really need to fight for it. There's kind of nothing really to be proven. I think it's more out of anger, maybe a hope that we held from this person that they were going to fulfill. It could have been romantic in nature, being the Knight of Cups. Someone could have proposed something to you and kind of failed. It could be a broken promise as well. Now, across from our 3rd house, the environment, we have the 9th house. So this is of things we have to learn or are learning about. It could be philosophy or travel. So here we have the Page of Cups. So learning about how we express ourselves, or maybe about romantic or romantic life in general. The Page of Cups upright has a lot to do with poetry and kind of a hopeless romantic. Upside down, or reversed, sorry, it's quite the opposite. So probably the pain or the upset with could be rejection, a lot of things just being misunderstood as well, with 5 of coins, and maybe the other person possibly not really wanting to get to know us, and this causing anger internally. So 4th house, we can move on here. Fourth house has a lot to do with security, so how we feel secure, or where we go to find a sense of security. So we have the King of Cups here upright. So chances are this is another person. So this could be a father figure, or it could be a husband. Could also be a female. It doesn't necessarily have to be a male, but this is someone who's very diplomatic. So I can see you moving towards them this month and possibly talking a lot about your issues that you have with this other person, something that failed. It could be work related, especially with our 12th house unconscious. So something that failed to happen really brought you down and affected you. So go towards them. Here, 10th house, opposite of that 4th house. 10th house has a lot to do with work and profession, also how we're seen on a public stage. And we have the 9 of Cups in reverse. So this is really not what we expected. We kind of held high hopes here with possibly a job, maybe. We could have perhaps been offered a job, and it sounded like rainbows and fairies and beautiful things, and it did not turn out that way, possibly. So that could be disappointing for sure. So 5th house, this is our uniqueness, individual, and self-expression. So here we have 10 of Swords, so there's a huge pain and betrayal we have with expressing ourselves this month, or whatever had to do with this situation. It's very difficult to express yourself. So obviously this person who brings you that stability, speak to them and talk to them. Get out what you're trying to feel, or maybe if you enjoy art, try writing in some way, or painting out just to express it, because here there's a lot of pain. And opposite the 5th house is 11th house, so this is communities and friends, and also humanitarian. It's organizations. So we have the Knight of Cups. So a person within an organization or a group is kind of holding us back, and they're maybe a little bit manipulative, and that's obviously painful because you're trying to force out an issue, and I think it's causing pain. I think maybe you're going about it the wrong way, perhaps. Perhaps the slow approach and the diplomatic approach here, 4th house, is the best. It's no fighting. Fighting's not going to get you anywhere, and they're not gonna see anything. When you're dealing with someone who's manipulating you, it's definitely tough. I've been there before, but try to separate out what's going on. So 6th house, this has to do with routines and work as well. So here we have the Knight of Wands. So obviously this is a very passionate card. So to me, in terms of work, also opposite another earth sign. The 6th house is associated with Virgo, so that's an earth sign. And we have the Ace of Coins in the 12th house, another earth symbol. It's a very passionate time. So this was something obviously important to you, that you expected security from. You know, you were kind of let down, and that's of course sad. But again, the hope here is diplomacy. Maybe somewhere we're missing something on the other end, some miscommunication. Of course, that's a scary thing to approach, always. But it's necessary to communicate how we feel and the things going on in ourselves as well, the internal struggles we feel. So that concludes the monthly reading. I hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate it. Thanks.